All right, welcome back, art students. We're getting very close to being done with our alligator with a visual texture. I'm just gonna finish up this leg here quick. All right, and then let's add a little bit more texture into the head. I'm gonna do some technique called cross-hatching. Just a little bit. I don't want to get too crazy. I don't want it to take away some cross-hatching, a little bit of bumps and lumps in the skin. Pretend it's all warty. Little circle C's, little bumps all over the head. Oh yeah, this is a scary looking gator. And then there's some oval pattern shapes that kind of course through the back here. It's actually kind of fun. It's really repetitive doing all these shapes, but it's definitely giving it more texture. You can start to feel the texture just by looking at it, how it might feel if you touched it. And then if you want, you can add some more fun cross-hatching here and there. It's kind of a fun technique. Okay, and there we have a well done alligator. Oh my gosh, it looks scary. Good job. Now what we need to do, now that we have texture right there, we need to capture some visual texture. Oh, visual texture is really cool. So to do visual texture, I want you to use some crayons, neutral colors preferably. So it would be like any of your browns, blacks, grays, silvers, those kind of colors. So I am going to choose, let's see here, here's a brown. That's not a brown. I gotta find a brown color. Here we go, this looks like a neutral color. Have a backup just in case. Okay, and ironically, we're gonna do what's called a texture rubbing. I'm gonna use my shoe, the bottom of my shoe, and I'm gonna take my drawing. I bet you're thinking, what in the world? Why would you use your shoe? Okay, so I'm gonna place my drawing on top of the surface of my rough shoe. I'm going to take my coloring crayon here, and I'm going to press up and down like this, and I should actually capture some of the texture that's found on my shoe if I do it correctly. Do you see the texture coming through? This is called a texture rubbing. And I can reposition my paper over the same spot to get more of that texture. Now you don't have to use your shoe if you don't want to. You can use something else. Okay, there's one type of texture. Ooh, I'm gonna hunt around in my room for another texture. Ooh, here's a cool one. I happen to have nearby an aluminum can. Ooh, what's that texture gonna look like? I bet it's gonna be intense. So again, I put it right up against the surface. And then, oh, you can even hear it. You hear that? Ooh, that's a really cool texture. I like this texture. And I want you to do this to your whole background. Find some fun textures. I'm gonna change the direction of this texture just to make it really unique. Let's see what it looks like maybe if I overlap a little bit. See, isn't that cool? It kind of makes it into squares. Oh boy, I think I'm gonna have too much fun. Be very careful not to overlap your hard work, okay? Make sure you stay in the background. Notice how I'm being very careful as I get closer to my alligator. If you're going to choose more than one color for your background, try to keep it limited to 2 to 3 colors. Don't want it to get too colorful back there. Again, you want to use neutral colors. I think I'm going to keep mine a little bit more simple, and I'm just going to use one color. Okay, so you'll continue this process. And you can find as many different textures as you want. You could have just one texture throughout, like what I'm doing. Or if you want to use a lot more, actually I have 2 textures. If you want to overlap your textures, see what happens, kind of like I did over here, you could do that. I want you to experiment and have a little bit of fun with how you do your texture rubbings in your background with your crayon. Okay? I'll show you what it looks like in the next video, all done. See you there.